Okay, so today's lesson in math is actually we are going to be dividing fractions by whole numbers. So I'm using a page from the student book, page 199, if you want to follow along with the student book. But this is what it says to do. Solve each of the story problems below. For each problem, choose and circle one of the numbers in parentheses. Write an expression to represent your problem. Use numbers, labeled visual model, or words to solve the problem. Complete the sentence below with your solution to the problem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to look at this problem says 2, 3, or 4 dinner guests shared a certain amount of a pan of cornbread. What fraction of the pan of cornbread did each guest get? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the 2. So I'll circle the 2. And then 2 dinner guests shared, and we'll start with the half pan of cornbread. What fraction of the cornbread did each guest get? So what you need to do when you have a problem like this is you need to think about what is it asking you to divide? Okay, is it asking you to divide the dinner guest for cornbread, or is it asking you to divide the cornbread into segments for the dinner guests? So you always want to make sure that you're understanding what it's asking you to do. So in this instance, it's asking us to divide 1/2. So we are dividing 1/2 by 2. So how do we work out that problem? As we had seen before, what we need to do is we need to keep this first fraction the same. So we keep that as 1/2. Then we change the division symbol into a multiplication symbol. And then we have to flip or get the reciprocal of the second number. So what I need to do is it's a whole number, so I need to put a 1 underneath it, so that it's now 1/2 divided by 2 over 1. So again, I keep the first fraction the same. I change the division symbol into a multiplication symbol. And then I'm going to take this fraction and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to use the reciprocal, so then it would be 1/2. And then we go ahead and solve the problem like we would a multiplication of fraction problem. So you're going to multiply 1 by 1, which is 1, and then 2 times 2, which is 4, and then the answer is 1/4. So the 2 dinner guests will each get 1/4 of pan of cornbread. So now I'm going to try a different combination of that, and I'm going to do it on a different piece of paper. So I'm going to use 3, and we'll do 2/3. So again, you have to think about it as if it's 2/3 of a pan of cornbread, okay, is going to be divided by 3 dinner guests. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to rewrite it because I want to change the whole number into a fraction. Okay, then remember, I keep the first fraction the same, which is 2/3. I change the division symbol to a multiplication symbol, and then I flip or use the reciprocal of 3 over 1 and change it to 1/3. Then I multiply straight across, and I get 2 times 1 is 2, and then I get 3 times 3 is 9. So each guest, there are 3 guests, will get 2/9 of a pan of cornbread. I'll do one more, and we can use a different problem. So on this problem, it says 5 cousins shared half or 1/3 or 1/4 or 3/4 of a birthday cake. What fraction of the cake did each cousin get? So remember, what are we dividing? Are we dividing the cousins up? I don't think so. Are we dividing the birthday cake up? Okay, so I'm going to use 1/4, and then we have the 5 cousins. So remember, it's 1/4 divided by 5. So again, I'm just going to rewrite the problem, turning the whole number into a fraction, and then I will keep the first fraction the same, change the division symbol to a multiplication symbol, and then I will, because I'm changing it to multiplication, I need to flip or use the reciprocal. So then we get 1/5. I multiply straight across, and I get 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 5 is 20. So each cousin will get 1/20 of the birthday cake. So now that you know how to do this, I'm going to assign a book widget where you can go and practice this yourself. All right, let us know if you have any questions.